Gore-Pax tampons, built from a combination of Gore-Tex and polypropylene yarn. Gore-Pax tampons are guaranteed to hold up under the duress of a heavy flow season.
Hello everybody, this is Rich Ramersa from East Rosebud Fly Shop, coming to you not live from East Rosebud Studios. I'm with my beautiful co-host, beautiful man, Brandon Booty.
Hey, what's up everyone? How you doing? Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. I think we're kind of holding at that 9 count as far as listenership.
At least we're not going down.
Well, if we are, they're not telling us. Huh?
Yeah.
What I want to talk about today is high-end fly rods. And this, when we work together, when we do our podcast, talking about gear, I'm sure it'll happen, but it's really not the focus. But the reason I want to talk about it is because we're a little bit past mid-December here in Billings, Montana, East Rosebud Fly Shop. There's a new Helios coming out in January of 24. Then that's the Orvis Helios 4. You got nothing to say on that motherfucker?
Helios is a great rod. I haven't casted the 4 yet, but
it is a great rod.
I've casted the older one, and it's a fantastic rod.
It is a fantastic rod.
It's hard to go wrong with the Helios.
Well, it's also a rod that they've done great with. I think Orvis, that's a flagship rod. I mean, it's interesting how, in my opinion, Orvis's lineup is kind of like that. To me, is the best rod they make.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's the best thing to say. Meaning that, like, when you've got other rod companies out there like Sage, for example, their rods, to me, all the way down to their entry level, are all superb, right? And I'm not saying Orvis isn't superb. I'm just saying that, like, Orvis, I can end up selling more Helios than some of their midline rods. And that's not the same with some other brands for me.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So Orvis for me is a vendor has been a good brand, and the fact that there's a new Helios coming out, I'm gonna sell those motherfuckers. I mean, you betcha, baby. That's gonna. Hey, do you have an Helios D? Blah blah blah. Yes, I do. I'll take it.
Yeah, because they do what, a D and a F.
Yes, DNF. Okay. Yep, and that's obviously action difference, of course. I'm more of a D guy as opposed to a flex guy, right? A little bit more power. That's my preference with the Helios, but I think that it's interesting. I think that the retail on this it's 11 bills, I believe, which is not a shocker. I mean, let's be real here. Rods are $1,000 now if you want the good ones.
Yeah. If you want a top of the line rod, you're paying $1,000.
You are. I've sold my share of G. Loomis Asquiths, and those, those fuckers are like 13 bills now or something.
That's one rod I've never casted.
I fished with a guy Sunday, a good friend of mine, the Schwo, who bought a 7-weight Asquith from me, and it casts great. Not to get too far off on all this, but the Asquith is a spineless fly rod.
I don't know what that means.
That's like a Tenkara fisherman, spineless.
Oh.
I'm kidding. I'm joking. That's not true. Okay, but the Asquith, made in Japan. Okay, on a mandrel that is like the only one on the planet. So that's why that fucker's so expensive. So I'll sell a lot more Helios because Orvis has got a significant name, and it's a nice rod. I cast this. It's smooth as shit. It doesn't weigh anything. I think they're sticking with that white sticker on that rod.
Yeah, so I think it's a good
Sticker's
market.
rude. It's not a sticker. It's something else.
Yeah, but it's for marketing, right? You can.
I don't know what it is.
You can see across the river the guy has a Helios from that.
Is that? Oh, is that what that
I
fucking
think it's
is?
a marketing play. Yeah, 'cause
Wow.
it sticks out. You know, there's no question about it. That's a Helios rod.
That's very interesting. That might be why they do it. I've had some people say that's ridiculous.
I think it's a good market play. you know?
Wow. Okay.
Especially if you're somewhere where it's like, dang it, everyone has to, you can tell how many people are throwing Helioses.
Well,
when
they
that's on
stuck. They stuck with that motherfucker. That sticker's there. So, here's my deal. Kelly Gallup, who is just the man, I mean that with total sincerity, did, I believe it was an online, a video piece on, do you really need to spend $1,000 for a fly rod? And obviously his play on that was, of course not. And, you can definitely sit here, in my opinion, and say, of course not. Of course you don't need to have an R8, have a Helios, have an NRX. You don't have to do that. But you think there's a difference between a $1,000 an hour working girl and a $200 an hour working girl?
Yeah, most definitely.
You think there is?
I think the main difference is the clientele.
Oh, well, you're wrong. There's
definitely a difference.
And just like high-end working girls, high-end fly rods, there's a difference. Okay. And so Master Gallup, he's fucking right. You get an Echo, you get a TFO, you get an entry-level Sage. Hey, fuck. You're fishing. You're fishing, you're smiling, you're enjoying it. Nice action. Good warranty. But I do think that when you get up into that higher-end fly rod, I got a lot of saltwater fly angler friends, and they love a Scott Sector. That's a great fly rod. And, that's not a $500 rod. That's a $1,000, $1,100 rod. And the point is that performance-wise, in my opinion, they're so much more fucking accurate. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. That's what a lot of people don't really get, in my opinion.
And with a lot less effort, too.
They just, when you start getting into those top-tier rods, they don't weigh anything.
Yeah.
So pushing that shit for 6, 7, 8 hours hard and wanting it to do what you've got, then, I'm just telling you, something like a Helios is going to make a difference. And so that's coming out in January. And as a fly shop retailer, I'm fucking excited.
Yeah, you should be.
I am. I am. It's my first Helios release as an Orvis dealer. So, looking for some cream, baby. So come buy those from me.
You think you'll sell more of those or the R8s?
I think that rod has its fans, and for good reason. And I think that when it's out, people will be looking for it.
Yeah.
And Orvis has been tight-lipped on that shit. I don't think they've released a photo yet, it's been really tight. I cast it, beautiful. Yep, yeah. It just smelled profitable. It did. It was like a fucking Cuban cigar. It just smelled delicious, right? And that's the deal, is that with these rods, they've got their fans. And the number of people that are willing to drop 11 bills for a fly rod walking into a fly shop, that's probably less than 5% of everybody that walks in the shop. So yeah, you're not. I've been in this business 15 years as a retailer. You ain't paying your bills with $1,000 fly rod sales. You're not. That's fucking fantasy. I do good volume as a business, and I sell my share of rods. But that cheaper price point, under $500, is what you sell. Straight up. You bet. I sell a lot of Echoes. But, the point to this piece, the point to this discussion is that for those of you out there that, there's 9 of you, that means that 1/2 of one person listening to us has got the financial demographic to walk in and drop $1,000 for a fly rod? Because that's really what we're talking about here. I mean, you know, who is that customer? Who do you think that customer is that comes in and drops $1,000 for a fly rod?
In my opinion, you know, someone who has the money, who's I don't want to necessarily say avid fly fisherman, but who, you know, who wants to, I guess, save his shoulder at the end of the day. I don't know.
So this person is, number one, this person is 35 and older.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'd say when you're talking about buying one of these rods I'm talking about, that person is 35 and older, mostly 40 and older. And it's somebody that I'm going to say obviously a one and done person, or somebody that's very avid and understands the performance relationship in investing in a fly rod like that. Right? You definitely get that impulsive, I want to have, you know, that you get that a little bit, but not much. I mean, it's a discerning customer that's really going to do that. And I would say it can be between a beginner and somebody who has 8 to 10 of those kinds of rods at home.
Yeah. It
can be that. But that market is out there, and with the new Helios coming out, it just got rosier.
Yeah. Great,
oh, fuck.
Great rod. You know, on my boat, the people who have all the high-end rods are the people who are, you know, taking multiple trips a year.
I mean, yeah. It's,
the older people who are taking multiple guided trips a year that want to throw their own rod. You know, they had the higher-end rods, the Helioses and the R8s and stuff like that.
Yes. Goddamn, I love that Sage R8.
It's a nice rod.
That's my Helios.
It's a nice rod. I don't have an R8. I have the older one, the X, but...
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of other solid mentions in this discussion. Scott Centric, superb rod. In my shop, I would say that Scott is probably number 2 after Sage for me. And I still have a good RL Winston business. I do. Nice. You know, I do. You know, the Air 2 is a... Goddamn, I think that baby's 12 bills. $11.95, or, you know, that's just, you know, made in Montana, beautiful though. You know, action-wise, it's a multi-purpose rod, but for me, it's still on that softer side of fly rod. And I felt with the Helios when I cast that it's the 5-weight. The 5-weight is just effortless, smooth.
Did you cast the D and the F?
I did. And like I said, I'm a D guy just because I prefer faster action rod. And I also cast it in the 8-weight. More of that, you know, the saltwater side of it. And Jesus. God. It's a line launcher.
Shooting that line
out,
huh?
Fuck. It's a great rod. So the Helios 4 coming out in January 24, and you know, we'll let everybody know when we've got it, and you know, please God, come buy one. I'm paying for a divorce, and my ass is bleeding. You think that's too frank?
Hey, you know, I think it's, you know, it is what it is, you know.
So please, if you need a good quality fly rod, come buy it from East Rosebud Fly Shop. Thank you very much. Anything else?
No. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yep, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.